Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 326.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos. Happy Monday, everybody. It's June.
It is June.
That's hard to believe.
Welcome back to the channel. I realized that I'll be missing Father's Day with the kids.
You will. You're going to do the Father's Day thing, which is go someplace else. I find that, typically my mom wanted to be with like all of us for Mother's Day. It was all about Mother's Day being together. And my dad would be like, can I just be free to be allowed to do what I want to do today?
I like being around the boys. I was going to try to guilt Anthony. I was texting him yesterday.
That's a good plan that begins with that.
I was texting him yesterday. I forgot what I texted him that I thought was really weird. It was something kind of as like, wow. And now it's really bothering me that I don't remember what it was. But he was like, wow, that's kind of weird.
It was wings.
Oh, that's what it was. We were coming home from church and I'm like, I have a bunch of gift cards for Buffalo Wild Wings because people have given us gift cards, for my birthday or whatever. Thank you so much for that. But we don't really go out to eat that much, especially now because we are 40 minutes from all of the good restaurants. Our favorite restaurants, right? But Buffalo Wild Wings, Texas Steak Brazil, or Brazilian steakhouses, as well as
Texas Roadhouse.
We're 30 to 40 minutes away from all of them, so we don't really go unless we're like on vacation. So we went to church. There was a Buffalo Wild Wings next to church. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to get Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm really in the mood for wings. And I'm
always in the mood for wings.
As I'm trying to order them, it's like $28 for 20 wings. That's why we generally only would buy Buffalo Wild Wings on buy one, get one day. Right now they're doing like all you can eat wings.
They don't know me.
But you have to sit there, and I like to bring the wings home.
Right.
Okay, but... So they have a special, and the special was 20 wings and a basket of fries for $20. So I can get 20 wings and fries for $20.
Just toss them out.
Or 20 wings without fries
for $28.
For $28.
Value.
So I actually called the restaurant and I'm like, are they a different size wing? Because that would make sense. He's like, no, same wings. I'm like, okay, we'll get 3 orders of 20 wings with fries and then feed the fries to the chickens. Which, by the way, chickens and turkeys love French fries, evidently.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful with starchy stuff, no matter what.
Yeah.
But it was, it was like, just throw them out.
There's just no sense in spending an extra $8. Just throw out the fries. So that's like a lesson to us. Like, just because it comes with it doesn't mean you don't have to get it. If it's cheaper to order a meal, like a steak meal with mashed potatoes and cauliflower than it is to order the steak a la carte, get it with the mashed potatoes and cauliflower and throw out whatever you don't want to eat.
I mean, you could even say to them, if you're like, I don't even want it to come to the table because I don't want the temptation, I'll be like, yeah, I would like the thing that's got the sides, just hold the sides.
I know, you're right, except for we're dealing with the drive-through, and so it's like, I don't want to confuse things.
When you said mashed potatoes and I'm thinking sit down for that.
Yeah. So, anyway, I just thought it was really interesting.
I see you're ready for a cruise, not the cruise we're going on, because we're going on Alaska cruise. You look like you're going to. You look like you're going to the Caribbean. I mean, the shirt, the whole thing. You look very like we're going to the Bahamas.
I like this hat.
I like the hat too
because it's like this. You can watch this. Whip.
It goes everywhere.
It's perfect, but I think it actually looks better on you.
Don't do it with a
Yes, it looks better on you anyway.
Well, thank you.
All of my clothes and hats look better on you.
Well, you should just let me wear all your.
I
don't know. I think you look pretty
anyway.
Cute with a hat on.
So anyway, I was gonna guilt Anthony and text him and say, we will be gone for Father's Day. So what I would really like for Father's Day is the week after we get home, why don't you come up here for a couple of days and help me work on the house?
Did it work?
I didn't have the nerve to send the text message.
I think that was the best thing to do, not send it.
We still have the old RV, which, by the way, we're selling if anybody's interested in RV.
Yeah.
He could just sleep in there. Like, he'd have a place to stay. Maybe we could even take him to Busch Gardens, with the pass that he already owns, it won't cost me anything, but I can get some labor. No, it won't work.
I don't think it will, but if you feel the need to express it, then go ahead and do that thing.
Do you guys guilt your kids? I think we should all guilt our kids more often.
It's pretty useless, I find.
Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, this is all about our subscribers and a little bit about our struggles with
nonsense,
guilting our children. But we love to do this every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, live whenever possible. By the way, next Monday obviously will not be live because we will be on the low carb cruise to Alaska.
So excited.
So it will be pre-recorded. But we are going to, when we put up the pre-recording, it will be premiered at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we encourage you to chat amongst yourself because we are all about community.
Yes.
So we're going to encourage you chat amongst yourself. Hopefully one of our moderators win there. We have an amazing community. Very few times do we get trolls. But if you see a troll in there, just report them.
Yeah.
But our community is really awesome. There is a troll comment at the end of today's video, which make sure you stay tuned for that. But we do this every Monday, and we like to just go through, find success stories, questions, comments from our social media from the last week. We encourage you to go join our Mighty Networks group. It's completely free, members.2crazyketos.com. That is our open community. If you want to support us financially, you can join one of the paid groups within there, and you get like access to, like Rachel does a live stream every Wednesday,
have a lot of fun on Wednesday
at
mornings.
10 a.m. It's a live stream / lesson to really help you further your keto carnivore journey. And so you can always do that, or you can use any of the links down below or buy us a cup of coffee. If you are new here, the way we're going to do this is go through everything we've prepared. And then after that, what we'll do is we'll get into the chat. So if you have a question, hold off to the last 10 or 15 minutes or use the super chat function because that'll highlight our screen and we can answer your question right away. Let's start off with our first one here from Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Debbie put up this little meme, whatever you call it. I cannot stress enough how important it is to find a like-minded tribe who believes in you so ferociously that on the days that you feel like you can't, they remind you that you can.
Wow, that is awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I love going on the low-carb cruise. Like, the low-carb cruise for 2026, like, they're already taking, like, people signing up for that.
Yeah,
so
we're going.
We're going. We are definitely going to be there for the
Already
2026. We're already signed up. So if you're like, hey, I couldn't make it this year, make it next year. Or come on the 2KK cruise that's happening in December, because I'm telling you, it is so refreshing when we are together. And for everybody that's going on the low carb cruise, once we get together after a week together, you feel so refreshed and you feel so much more, I find, engaged with your health goals for yourself. And it is not just because there's a lot of great information provided by the speakers. It's because in community, you are reminded of your why and you are also cheered on. There's people that are going to talk. A lot of times we have very meaningful conversations, either on excursions or like sitting in the hot tub, sitting around the dinner table and just cheering each other on and reminding each other that we can do big things.
Yeah, and the thing is that when you go on those kind of things, you meet new people, you can have a lot of fun, you can tease people. You said refreshing. What's refreshing right now is the blue raspberry salty. I think this is actually topped cherry chill, and the only thing that would beat this would be if salty would come out with grape. So I plan on the entire low carb cruise bugging Miriam that we need grape salty.
I'm gonna have to throw you overboard, aren't I?
Pretty
I'm gonna have to leave you in a port. Which port would you like to live in? Just so that I know, in case we just are
I think Skagway.
Skagway
would work.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah. Either that or I'll just go up to Nome with Andrew.
Okay.
But yeah.
Andrew's not going to tolerate you.
If you're going on the low carb cruise, just when you see Miriam, tell her that you think that we should have grape salty.
No.
Why not?
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't ruin Miriam's trip.
Exactly. It's her cruise too.
John said McDonald's is like that. Sometimes I went there for breakfast, ordered 2 sausage patties, 2 eggs, 2 slices of cheese, $14. So I got 2 sausage McMuffins with no bun on a platter for $5. It's the same thing. Yes. I mean, we've gone to Wawa, like if we're out on the road. Wawa one day was doing, Rachel wanted a breakfast sandwich. And again, remember, we're throwing out the bread.
We're throwing out the bread.
The breakfast sandwich was $4.69, but they were doing a deal. If you got the breakfast sandwich, a hash brown, and a coffee, it was $4.
We literally were like, do you eat the hash brown? To like the cashier.
And you had to ring it up.
You have to.
Otherwise, the coupon didn't work. So it's a good reminder. I've seen even things like in McDonald's on the app, they have like the app-only deals, and they'll be like, Egg McMuffin and hash brown, $3. Egg McMuffin on its own, $4.69.
Since you brought up Wawa, I'm going to give a shout out to Wawa right now, which is, I think that currently they are winning the breakfast sandwich game, and hear me out. It's not because of cost, and it's not even because they are the most delicious.
No, because it's like not a fresh egg.
The reason why I find that they win, and I do not understand why no one will do this the same way, is they put their slice of cheese in between the egg and the sausage. And so you don't have any of the cheese sticking to the bread that you are throwing out.
It depends on the Wawa. Because the Wawa by our old house did not do that. And I actually said something to the manager. Because, like, we went there every day. And he was like, this is how we make them.
Huh.
And so it's like, so I think it depends on the Wawa.
God bless them.
Y'all, we're in trouble. They're
Wawa.
actually getting ready to build the largest Buc-ee's in the country just 30 minutes from us. The good thing is it's probably 2 years away. They just got the approval to do it.
We won't hold our breath.
Next one we have is from Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
I cried this morning. I bawled some happy tears. I woke up without pain. I got up and I had a shower, I got dressed, I fastened my own bra behind my back, and I had no need to take painkillers. I can't even tell you how long I've been wishing for this. I've been doing carnivore for 1 month and 4 days. I was waking up in an 8 out of 10 pain every day. I had tendinitis in my shoulders, thumb, knee, and ankle. It's like when Frodo came out of the Mount Doom and the Eye of Sauron was gone.
I am so happy for you.
I was with her until the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Right there, I know. I enjoy Lord of the Rings. But so I am so happy for you. I think that I'm so pleased when people are starting this protocol, like a keto or carnivore protocol, and they're sharing what they are discovering, this pain relief that they have been praying for a really long time. They are still fresh from these 8 out of 10 pain moments. I think sometimes as we get further from our start date, we can be guilty of taking for granted the pain that we do not chronically live in anymore. It is such a precious gift to be able to tie your own shoes, to be able to fasten your own bra, to be able to like reach your arms around and like be able to do things. I remember what it was like to be in pain, but not like somebody who is only a month in. Somebody that is a month in really is thankful for having pain relief.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's when we have been without pain for like a while and we don't appreciate that freshness that we take for granted.
Yeah.
And we sometimes can make stupid choices because we have forgotten how good it is to not be in pain all the time.
I'm just looking at these comments. I know I said I was going to look at the comments, but the comments on the grape are just amazing. And like, I know, like, I think
they also agree you should be left in a port.
No, they're all agreeing with me.
Toss you overboard.
I think Chris left the chat. Hopefully he did, because if he didn't, he's gonna go tell Miriam, and then Miriam's gonna come and yell at me.
I'm gonna text Miriam,
but
tell her about your nonsense.
Lots of people saying yes, grape yum, grape Celsius is like Welch's grape juice. I love it.
What?
You know, somebody else said that they were I think it was Aaron said that he likes the blue raspberry, but also that whenever there's a suggested flavor from Salty, they always put in grape.
Why?
Because it's awesome.
Why?
Yeah. It's because it's awesome.
I can think of 100 flavors I would rather have than grape.
The only one, pineapple.
Maybe like 5.
The new pineapple.
I'm using hyperbole because I just really want to emphasize no to grape.
Next one is from Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Okay, I know what I need to do. I just can't pull the trigger.
Okay.
I know I do better without packaged keto treats, yet every time I go shopping, something ends up in my shopping bag. I know dairy makes me phlegmy, but I love cheese. That's me. I have the problem when I cut out dairy, I don't eat enough fat and I get depressed. I can't afford ribeyes all the time. I do get the fattiest ground beef I can find in bacon and butter and in everything, but it doesn't seem to be enough for me, or I'm just not adding enough. I don't want to track, but I think I need to for a while just to see what I'm actually getting in. So a couple things, Mel. So number one, I would agree with you right off the bat. Like, if you haven't tracked in a while, again, we are not huge proponents of tracking. But I think that there are always times where I think it's good to track for maybe a week. So maybe 1 week, track what you're eating so at least you know a good starting point. That whenever we get a new coaching client and they're like, I'm struggling, that is my first thing. If you're considering coming to us for coaching, especially if you're just looking for like a one-time call, I'm going to tell you before you call us, before you set up the appointment, track your food for a week. That will save you a call. Because like this is a really stupid business practice, but I'm going to tell you how to avoid paying for a second call. And that is, come to us with all of the information we're going to ask you for in the first call, which is primarily what's going on, what are you struggling with, and what and how much have you been eating. So can you go home and track for a week and then book another call? If you come to us with all that ahead of time, sometimes we can help you in just 1 or 2 calls. So I think that the tracking is good just to see where you're going on. So as far as the ribeye thing, we can't afford ribeyes either. It's rare that we have ribeyes unless we happen to go out to eat with some kind of a coupon. We are big ground beef eaters, and also now we're big poultry eaters. Even though ruminant meat is obviously better, poultry's cheap for us right now.
Sure,
because we grow our own food. Eggs are perfect. Eating a lot of eggs. Eggs are to me, you want a superfood, it's eggs. You know, so, but adding more butter is always going to help. So when it comes to the keto treats, here's my suggestion. This is something that Rachel and I have talked with a lot of people about, and that is, if your problem is you're putting keto treats in your groceries, in your cart when you go to the grocery store, there's 2 issues with that. Most of the things that are sold in the stores labeled keto are not actually keto. So that causes another whole issue. But a good solution might be to, like Walmart kind of thing, order everything for pickup. You've talked about this a lot.
Oh, yeah, so you're not putting extra
order
things
it
in your
for
groceries.
Pickup, and then you never have to go in the grocery store and even see the things. Make your list, go through, order everything, drive up, pick it up, and you never have to go in the grocery store.
What I know about me
or get a friend to go pick it up for you.
Because everybody's different as far as what their challenges are, okay? But for me, what I know is when I start saying things like, I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it, it's really what I'm saying is, I want to continue doing what I'm doing more than I want a different outcome. That is okay. If you have decided, like, I know that I would lose weight, I know I would feel better in my body, then, you know, if I would do a certain thing, and then I don't do that thing, what I am saying is the weight loss is obviously not as important to me, or the pain management, the inflammation is not to a point where I'm willing to deal with it. But I need to know that about myself, because there's no sense in saying, well, I know what I need to do and I'm not going to do it and I'm really mad at myself. There's no need to be mad. It doesn't even have any emotion about it at all.
Right.
The fact is, I know what I need to do, and when I really truly want the outcome that is different, I will do that thing.
Yeah.
That I know I need to do.
It's true. I mean, listen, I'm in the same situation with the cheese. I love cheese. I love cheese.
But there's no sense in being upset to you because, like, when you're phlegmy,
I can make the decision
why.
that I'm going to stop eating cheese and not have this phlegmy cough every morning at the same exact time.
Right.
Or I could eat cheese and just deal with the cough, which is what I'm currently doing. But I have also experimented, and if I don't eat cheese for a few days, the phlegmy cough goes away.
Right. So when you decide, man, I really don't want a phlegmy cough anymore, you'll stop.
I'll stop eating as much cheese.
Yeah.
But right now I love cheese.
But in the moment that you're coughing with the phlegmy cough, there is no reason to even say, man, I hate this cough.
Right.
Because
it's my own doing.
You don't hate the cough enough to stop eating the cheese.
Yeah.
Right? So just be like, there's the cheese cough, you know, and just embrace it.
Next one's from Karen.
Hey, Karen.
I went to the theater last night. Super cool non-scale victory is my thighs don't hang over the chair now.
Way to go, Karen.
I don't have to sit with my legs crossed so as to not spill out onto the neighbor's seat. I have bingo wings?
Bingo wings.
And broad shoulders, but I didn't feel as tight, crunched up top either.
That is so flipping awesome. Yes, how we fit in spaces is something that is so beautiful on this keto and carnivore way of eating. The fact that I sit differently. We do not need to purchase 2 planes tickets. Going to Seattle is very expensive. The fact that Joe and I each only have to purchase 1 seat is such an incredible blessing. Right. When you think about, we're going to do something to save money, just eating this way saves us money. It saves us money on medicine. It saves us money on even the seats that we have. Like, we can go places. We
can literally both fit into the same seat that used to together.
Yes.
Like, you can get closer.
It is, what a blessing. What a blessing it is to be able to fit in spaces. I'm so happy for you.
Next one is from Lynn.
Hey,
2025 Lynn. June self-challenges are going well.
Good.
I've been consistently starting my day with a daily Bible study.
Yes.
Having daily walks, even if it's at 11:30 p.m. Added hand weight routine and mainly following beef, butter, bacon, egg, fighting the evening snack battle. The scale hit Wonderland this morning.
Way to go, Lynn. I love that what you said is, I feel like you have given us the order of importance, things that you are having eyes on. I think that this is really smart. You notice that like the food stuff is at the end. Usually when we have a challenge for ourselves, it's all about some sort of elimination of food right at the beginning. But what is she talking about? Her practices are, I need to fuel my soul. Like, there is a spiritual side to this. Whatever your belief system is, the spiritual side to it is a side. Like, I think you're kidding yourself if you don't know that, like, soul care is a part of it. Whatever brings you a refreshed soul. Yeah. Pursue that. And then also movement. Walking after we eat now has really become something that I do. I mean, we never did that before keto, but like having a nice walk after food.
Walking or doing something. A lot of times we'll eat, especially because
really
it's so hot here in Florida right now. Mm-hmm. And, I was thinking we don't have the money to buy a pool. We want a pool. Okay. But we don't have the money to buy a pool because it's going to be about $8,000 to get an above ground pool and everything. And then we have to have the water brought in because like we're on a well system. And so we're thinking about trying to find like one of those at least like little ones you can get at Walmart for a couple $100 to get through the year. But what we do is because it's so hot here, a lot of times we are working inside during the day, like in the heat of the day from like 11 o'clock to about 4 o'clock.
It's really bad.
Where it's 100 degrees and like 1,000% humidity. And what we'll during the day, I'll go inside, I'll work on videos, or when we get back from the cruise, we'll be working back on the house. And Rachel's been packing. I don't even know what that is. I haven't even started yet. And then what we'll do is we'll eat our meal at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we'll go out and work on the farm. Same thing in the morning. We'll eat breakfast, and then we will go out before it's too hot. So it's like right after we eat. So we're not always walking, but we're active. We're carrying turkeys around because now we let the turkeys go out for the day, but we got to go collect 30 turkeys and put them back into their coop. And so it's just doing something, getting some kind of activity, not heavy, intense activity, but just something to get that movement going to help you with your metabolism. Next one is PS.
Hey, PS.
I've been doing keto for the last 2 weeks, and at times it is really a 1 meal a day. I try to make sure I have enough calories in as an OMAD day. Okay. I'm struggling with, am I eating enough food? If it is not an OMAD day, I feel hungry more frequently once I start eating for the day. I live in Canada, so Keto Chow and bricks are not as affordable since it is only myself doing keto. I try and stick to burger patties and sausages and eggs.
Fine.
Don't really like eating eggs. Are there any suggestions on what I can eat that is quick and easy to heat? I have about 30 pounds to lose.
Bacon.
So, couple things. Number one, I don't know if you're a male or a female. Okay, it's just PS. Word of caution, extensive OMAD, in my personal opinion, based on all of my research and study, is not great for women.
Because hormones.
It's really not great for a lot of people, unless you're a person, even like Rachel, who can just eat a massive amount of food in a sitting. Like, I
Cool
cannot.
like that.
Like, I literally ate 7 wings yesterday. I'm like, I'm done. And then I need to eat a little bit more later on.
I do not eat 7 wings in a sitting.
So,
That's
but especially for women, there's some hormonal things, and OMAD on a regular basis is not a great thing. Once in a while is one thing. I would encourage you to go to a couple of meals a day. As far as, eating, if you don't like eggs, you don't have to eat eggs. No. There's plenty of other foods. Like, I would find things you can do with eggs. We have a lot of recipes, like our egg loaf that kind of hides eggs. The egg pudding based on Maria Emmerich's thing. Since you don't have Keto Chow, you don't need to use Keto Chow.
Powder.
She uses cocoa powder, and it makes chocolate pudding. So you can do that. Again, the egg loaf does not need Keto Chow. You don't need anything, or you can use any other protein powder to help stiffen it up and give it a little bit different consistency. But different, like the flan we made the other day.
Oh, it's so good.
Take out the sweetener in there, and you can actually make it savory. I'm working actually on a recipe to make it like a savory custard. Mm-hmm. So different things you can do there, but you don't have to eat eggs. I would suggest, if you're looking for grab-and-go stuff that's going to give you enough nutrition, beef jerky, any kind of dried beef, pemmican, things like that is all going to really help.
Yeah. Lunch meat.
Roast bacon.
Yeah. There's a lot out there.
And cheese.
Make roasts. Make roasts ahead of time. Meal prep a big roast and then like slice it up and then it's done. Meal prep can be your best friend if you are, you're just trying to have grab and go options. Just find a day when you're like the least busy and meal prep a whole bunch of stuff and just have it ready to grab and go. Like basically make, adult Lunchables. Yeah.
And again, I would say go to a couple meals a day. Make sure you're getting in enough food. You don't want to overeat, but you definitely want to make sure you're getting in enough. Next one's from Katie.
Hi, Katie.
I'm going to a wedding this weekend, and I'm planning to stay as keto as possible. I don't know what the meal is going to be because there's no meal choice listed on the response card. I don't want to be a weirdo not eating, but I tend to get FOMO when I'm in social situations. Any suggestions? Now, I figure that this is from last week, so she's already gone to the wedding, but I thought it was a good topic to quickly talk about because we're already 30 minutes in, and we're not halfway through the comments, but... So what are some suggestions that you could do? For me, when we go to an event, when they tell us what it is, this is one of those situations where I look down, okay, what is available, and I pick the best thing possible. If there's a sauce on it, I'll ask them if they can't do the sauce. A lot of times in a wedding situation, like it's all pre-prepared, so they can't. So I scrape it off, and I do the best I can. If there's a touch of sugar on the beef, I don't worry about it. I do the best I can. Or I am one of those people that just says, I'll go without and we'll go through a drive-thru on the way home if there's nothing at home.
I tend to like to eat. So, and when you go to a wedding, even if it's like a buffet style, like you just get what they give you. So even if it is like chicken and a side of broccoli, you're usually getting not a Rachel share. Like you're going to get like, everybody gets like one piece of grilled chicken and then broccoli if it's in like a, they're passing the plate in like full service. But if it's a buffet, I'm not going up there 4 times, right? So a lot of times what I will do before a wedding, and also I can be prone to like accidents happening with sauces on my nice dress when I'm out at like a fancy thing. So I will eat before we go. Like I will eat so that it's not like my first meal of the day and I'm voraciously hungry and prone to maybe making a choice that I don't want to make when I'm hungry.
Right. With the FOMO, I would just maybe bring, this may sound rude to some people, but for me, my health is more important than being rude to somebody. That's just me, though. But I'm also blunt. We did personality tests in church yesterday, and Rich was like, yep, that's you. And I'm like, but I know me. And I'm going to be blunt. That's why if you want to be coached by me, I'm going to tell you to do the right thing. I'll hold your hand a little bit, but I'm also not tolerant for silly things like being on keto. It's impossible to go out because we've been doing this for over 8 years, and I have yet to be in a situation at a some kind of a public function, whether it be something at church, filming, RV Unplugged, at the Alliance rally, where there is a buffet or where there is food being served, that I haven't been able to find something. And we go to a lot of events, and I feel like at this point, after 8 years, there should have been at least one time, like I could find something to eat in a vegan, I may not be the greatest thing in the world, but I could find something in a vegan event that we could eat on keto. So I don't have a lot of tolerance for that kind of stuff, but I understand the FOMO, especially they're bringing out desserts, and that's where I'm going to say, like, who cares about etiquette? Who cares about hurting somebody's feelings? And bring something with you in your purse that would help you. So, like, if you like Quest cups, like Rachel, bring a pack with you, and then when they're serving dessert, pull them out of your purse. Who cares about being rude? And eat them.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what's going to help, because, and again, I like to, anytime I'm going to a function, I also like to just say out loud, what is the purpose of this function? Why am I going to it? And so if the purpose of this function is to celebrate the couples and that's getting married, and then have some nice conversation catching up with family and friends, then that reminds me, oh yeah, the food is kind of down the line.
Yeah.
So if I get something that I'm really excited about, or I'm not, it doesn't matter, then, like, I'm okay with it.
I mean, and you can also think about, if we're honest, the bride and groom generally never get to eat either.
They really don't.
Next one's from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
About how many carbohydrates do you all consume daily?
It's a fair question.
It's a fair question, especially considering there was actually somebody on one of our videos accusing us that we are not really keto, that
Obviously.
We make videos,
it's a big
but
fakers.
we're complete keto, like behind the scenes, not keto behind the scenes, which is just not true. But how many carbs? I couldn't tell you. If you want to be honest, like, how many carbs do I consume every day? I have no idea. I don't think you do either. I can tell you for the most part.
Trying to calculate.
For the most part, it's usually under 20 total. Sometimes it's 10. Sometimes it may be 40 or 50. It depends on the day, but I have gotten past tracking that stuff, and so has Rachel. If we're doing a challenge, then maybe we'll count that stuff up. But for us, it's just super easy to go, I know that, I'm eating a bunch of beef, and I'm eating eggs and cheese or whatever. I'm not eating anything very high carb. We will allow ourselves, like, different treats once in a while. If we have, like, our flan, the recipe video that I made a couple weeks ago, or if Rachel eats a Quest cup, or if I have some kind of a packaged thing, I'm like, okay, I allow myself one, and so even there, if it's 25 total carbs, the rest of the day was very low carb. If you want to know how much you should be doing, especially if you're new, you want to stay under 20 to 30 total a day.
Safe.
If you're looking for a treat day, because again, sugar, alcohols, and stuff can add it up, what we always did was we would allow ourselves one day a week where we'd say no more than 50 total carbs, but you had to keep it under 20 net. And again, even though net is kind of a fake thing, by capping it at 50, you're still helping yourself out.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't think we ever eat more than 40 total carbs. I wouldn't say.
No. Next one is from Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
Carrie said, we need an easy way of measuring our insulin response so we can learn more about the processed foods we still choose to eat. And this is from the American Diabetes Society. Says, the real issue isn't high blood sugar, it's chronically high insulin, even when your glucose looks normal. That's why so many people feel stuck, tired, and hungry on repeat. And thank you, Carrie, for putting this up in Mighty Networks. It is so true. And there are a couple comments here at the end to go back to, because there's a lot of people still messaging about this. But that's my concern with the sugar diet that people are doing, is that people are going, but look, my glucose came down. But what's your insulin? But what's your insulin? Oh, you can't check your insulin at home. Because it makes sense if your glucose is coming down, especially if you've been on keto for a while, because you're going to be hypersensitive to that glucose, and your body's going to pump out insulin, and your glucose is going to drop. But it means you're releasing insulin. Now, again, we've talked about this in that other video, that fructose is not insulin dependent because it's processed in the liver. But when you're eating high amounts of fructose, high amounts of fruit, not one piece of fruit for the whole day, then you're affecting your liver. But the thing is that nobody that is doing that is looking at insulin. Insulin is a fat storing hormone.
And we have been accused of fear mongering, like that, talking about like, hey, maybe before you start something, you should think about this, this, and this. But I do not consider that trying to spread fear. I'm trying to spread information.
Educating.
Yeah. So that's like saying, you know, hey, you guys need to like memorize these multiplication tables because you're going to need them in a pinch. You can't just like trust that you're going to have the book in front of you all the time. And then somebody's saying, well, if you're insinuating we need to memorize the multiplication tables and you're just fear-mongering the children. It's like, no, I just want you to have the information in front of you, you know, for your benefit. It doesn't matter if you follow through with the information that we give, right? Like, that's up to you. I'm not trying to make anybody scared. I just want to make you aware of things.
I mean, Carrie also had put up a thing, and we watched it as well. Chris had sent it to me, too. Nick Norwitz did a great video.
Great job.
On
he can
the sugar
use
diet.
Scientific language that we do not have.
And listen, he's a brilliant Harvard doctor, PhD.
Yeah.
Okay, but a lot of things he said in there is what we said in our video when it comes to the FGF21. One thing I was very interested, like, I know what produces FGF21, but I did not understand the whole idea that it's really a lack of protein. Like, I knew that FGF21 goes up when you consume a lot of sugar, as we talked about in our video. But it's temporary, that it goes up when you fast, it goes up when you're eating high fat, but never really correlated that it's actually, and it came out in a study, that it's from the reduction of protein. But as he said, and other people like Thomas Lawler said, this is really only something good for, and even not good, but something that would benefit somebody who is very active and very lean.
Yeah.
You know, that obese people should not be doing this. And that's
But
us.
people like sacrificing protein for this protocol.
And again, we're not looking at everything else.
Could
But if
really lead to
you really
problems.
want to, if you want to understand the science behind what we talked about in our sugar fasting video,
Nick's video,
go watch Nick Norowitz's video.
Yeah.
If Chris is still here, he can put a link to it. But so a lot of, like, we said it, but in very basic, because we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, and he is a Harvard doctor, PhD. So, like, if you want to understand the real science and the studies that show that, go check out his video.
Yeah.
Next is from Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
I love your videos and that you constantly have patience to answer my many questions.
Aww.
That's why we're here. I know the basics of keto, but I'm still struggling. No diet is one size fits all, but keto comes close and previously also for me. I feel like I walked through the forest, took the wrong path, and fell in a hole. I hear what you say, but I just can't seem to climb back out. Can you just tell me what you ate when you first started? I need a keto GPS. Okay, so unfortunately, we did not make videos when we got started because, if you want me to be completely honest, this was a weight loss diet.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a long-term health thing. And so I didn't think to record everything. It was after a year,
like,
more than
whoa.
a year, and I'm like, whoa. You know, and again, people asking us, and we've talked about that it was a joke starting the channel, but it was really like after we're like, so many people wanted to know what we did
you
that we
just send them
came
to
up
the
with
video.
videos. But what did we eat? Beef. I did a lot of bacon, a lot of eggs. I ate a lot of chicken because I grew up that beef was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And also we had no money. Okay, so I grew up, we did not have a lot of money, so we ate a lot of chicken and ground turkey. So you had the combination of, you know, beef not good for you, drink skim milk, and margarine is healthier and margarine is cheaper. So I grew up with a very unhealthy eating lifestyle. But so coming into keto, I was a chicken eater. I never ate a lot of beef. It wasn't until starting keto that I ate a lot of beef.
I was a hamburger girl.
And so
we grew up
but
with
a lot of that kind of stuff. And if you go to our early videos, we relied heavily on mug cakes. And like something we haven't made in a long time is our chocolate chip cookie dough. like fat bombs, like because there were no keto products.
So we
then.
made our own.
So we made our own. And again, my big suggestion would be to just keep it as simple as possible.
A whole food protocol, it was a blessing because we didn't have a lot of things that we had to navigate because, like we're saying, there wasn't a lot of packaged food. I mean, even now they're making, you know, adult Lunchables for keto. Like they're making all kinds of things for keto. There was no like keto, you know, purported pasta. There were no keto breads to like for you to fall down that hole. There was no keto tortillas for you to hurt yourself with. So, you know, Whole Foods is where it's at. If you want things like the, you know, the flavors of like maybe Mexican stuff, then I'm going to say go to things like our Mexican, you know, shredded chicken recipe. You're looking for seasonings versus having to have like tortillas and breads and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing for, you know, we did make a lot of meal prep things like pepperoni with like cheese cooked in the middle.
A lot of casseroles.
A lot of casseroles. Yeah.
Because for us,
it felt familiar.
And I think that if you're getting started on keto, the best thing you could do is to be prepared. Okay. I was an Eagle Scout, right? So you have to be prepared. And again, even when we got started, we didn't have Keto Chow. Like, we didn't find Keto Chow until 2019.
Yeah.
And at first, that was January of 2019, wasn't a huge fan of it. I wasn't a big fan of it until KetoCon 2019, which was, I think, June, where we met Chris and Miriam, and Chris had discovered that he could use butter with Keto Chow. So, for me, being prepared was having stuff where I could open up my refrigerator and go, ready. I can eat that. So going through my pantry and throwing out stuff I couldn't eat, and since we had children in the house, telling them you have to keep that in your room, or put it in a place where I can't see it.
The lower pantry.
But always having meal prep. So making meat cookies, which is basically just pre-cooked hamburgers, and having them in the refrigerator where you could throw them in a microwave or eat them cold. Having chicken. Making sure we had cheese, casseroles where it's already cooked, and we would cook 2 or 3 casseroles for the week, and then every day we could have something different because they're going to last a week. So our cheeseburger casserole, our broccoli and cheese casserole,
keto lasagna,
the keto lasagna, and doing that kind of stuff, and just making sure that there is always something to eat that you don't have to prepare
boiled eggs
in your refrigerator.
Boiled eggs, egg salad, tuna salad, chicken salad, like everything. You know, and having like a variety of textures. So we would have like, you know, like I said, those, you know, pepperoni cups. We would make our Cheez-Its. We would make things so that it was crispy. Things like parm chips that we would make in the microwave. Things that were crispy, things that were, you know, sweet, things that were savory.
Yeah. And as far as a keto GPS, you might want to consider getting some coaching. I don't think you need extensive coaching, but you might want to consider getting coaching. Like, okay, so we are health coaches. Here's the thing about coaching. Everything that you want to know about keto is pretty much available online. So, again, the worst business model in the world. Okay,
put everything out there.
Thousands of dollars to become a certified master health coach, which I don't regret because I learned stuff. But for me, it's about helping people. And so I can tell you this, is that pretty much you don't need a coach to be successful in keto.
You can find the information.
But sometimes it helps. And it's so here's why. One of my favorite movies is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So if you've ever seen that movie, you have the very end of the movie, right? Where Harrison Ford has to go in and navigate following everything that Sean Connery has written in his diary. And so you get to that one part where he's got the stepping stones. What a coach is going to do you is they're that diary. The coach is telling you step here,
avoid this step
here, step here. You can get across that path on your own.
Maybe.
But you may step on a bad spot and now have to go backwards.
Right.
And then, you know, so it may be like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, whereas a coach can help you navigate that and maybe where you go 5 steps forwards and then 1 step back, or maybe you never take a step back at all.
Sometimes too, like you value things that you invest in. So I could
That's
tell
me.
you,
I don't do anything unless I have money
if you have money attached to it, you may just be like, okay, well, I'm stupid not to follow through with this because I paid for it.
Next one is from Laura.
Did you ever have someone give you one of those backhanded compliments? Yes, almost daily.
Especially on our channel.
You know, the kind that pats you on the back and kicks you in the teeth at the same time. I just spoke with a family member who said, did you know the Eggman, the man we get our eggs from, watches Dr. Berry too and promotes that way of eating? The tone and way she said it, making sure to put the emphasis on way as if it were the plague. Ugh, I just said, oh, really? And changed the subject. I love my family, but I grow weary of defending this way of eating to them all of the time. My improved health should speak for itself. You know, I totally get it. And, you know, sometimes it can be very hard to just discount that. Like when someone gives you that backhanded comment, it's weird. Whatever was the positive thing, that immediately gets tossed out, and I hold on to the negativity for a really long time, like unnecessarily long time. So I need to swap it out and just decide, oh, I notice that you are noticing something that is positive or neutral, and I'm noticing something that is negative. I am going to choose what I'm going to wad up and throw in the trash. And so what I'm going to say is, oh, that's pretty cool. What a small world. The person that supplies our eggs also watches Dr. Berry. How neat is that?
Yeah.
What a small world we live in.
Next one is from Tanya.
Hey, Tanya.
I so appreciate the voice of reason and common sense expressed here consistently. The latest sugar diet, hyperketosis craze sweeping through the keto space is dangerously irresponsible. Yet many are so desperate and making excuses, believing the hype while falling into the trap. Any illusion of a quick fix just isn't worth the long-term damage and suffering with autoimmune disease, diabetes, chronic pain, and inflammation. I completely agree. I just do. I mean, and again, that's why our videos that we've talked about, or when we've talked about it on live streams and stuff like that, it's not a condemnation. It's, if you're doing it, that is great. I've been wrong on things in the past. I mean,
sure.
and I will admit that. And as we've said, I think certain people can cut a couple of pounds, but at what cost? And again, now you see the scientific gurus coming out going, again, this will work with certain people, but not most. And if you are somebody who is already obese, or you have metabolic issues, or you have prediabetes, it is dangerous to try. And again, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but I would venture to say, to tell a pre-diabetic or a diabetic to eat nothing but sugar is irresponsible. And any doctor who would tell them that it's okay, in my opinion, should lose their medical license.
Well, I think sometimes doctors are said to have been like going along with something, and the person that is telling them what they're doing is not reporting the whole truth. I really believe if a patient walked into a doctor and be like, hey, I am just going to be eating
600 grams of sugar a day,
I think that the doctor would be like, no, that's probably not a good idea. And yet, you know, you don't know, somebody reports back, oh, my doctor is completely fine with it. But like, how is it presented to them?
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a little suspect, but I was thinking the other day, so I got like right here, I have like a terrible mosquito bite that is like bugging the snot out of me, because like mosquito bites, and also I have an ant bite right here. And it's like really annoying because it keeps like getting rubbed by my watch. I'm annoyed by this, but this is not the way that I live all of the time. Pre-keto, when I was like a sugar fiend, everything was itchy and hurt. It wasn't just like, it's not just a weight thing. I think about how I do not want to go back to the skin issues that I had. The back acne, the acne all around here, the rosacea that was very painful on my face. It's like, there's a lot of reasons why we maintain keto. brain health for me being number one. I'm never going to put that in jeopardy ever again. That would be the most foolish thing ever. But on top of it, the thought of like, oh my gosh, all of the acne, all of the, like just skin issues were so painful.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
And I think Tanya nailed it perfectly. They're desperate. I understand being desperate. I understand the desperate nature of it. It's just, there's a lot of complications that can come with this, and you only see anybody talking about weight loss. You don't, again, I mean, the one thing, I mean, everybody knows who we're talking about, but Cole Robinson, I did watch one clip where he had talked about, now somebody I would never suggest going on this is somebody with a mental health issue or Alzheimer's or, epilepsy issues. That's Rachel. Okay, but 99.9%, and that was one little segment where he is saying everybody should be doing this.
Thank goodness he said that.
But again, nobody's talking about everything else. This is for weight loss. This is for weight loss, but they're not talking about anything else, and that's what's concerning. Next one is from Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn.
I have a question about making keto chow. I always make mine with 4 tablespoons of butter. I recently heard you can make it with peanut butter. Can you tell me how much to use? I have no sugar added peanut butter. I'm only wanting to make it occasionally for a creamy treat. So I originally responded to Marilyn, we haven't tried it. So I did try it.
Okay.
So you basically, number one, you're going to need a blender. Okay. Also, you do need to kind of melt it down a little bit in the microwave. At least this was when I tried it. And you're going to have to treat it very much like you're treating butter. Because we all know that peanut butter does solidify. Not as much, but it does get a little bit hard in the refrigerator.
Sure.
Which is why I would always get annoyed when people would put the peanut butter in the refrigerator. Because I want smooth, creamy, because I was give me a spoon and let me eat it.
And I always was like, I don't like seeing that oil.
Right. So what you want to do is you're going to melt it and then mix it with a blender. I could not get it to work without a blender. It was delicious. It's only going to work with certain flavors because other flavors are going to be like nasty. Like,
chocolate peanut butter.
Red raspberry and peanut butter doesn't sound too appealing. But like there is a chocolate peanut butter. If you want to add more peanut butter flavor, yeah, use chocolate peanut butter.
Should have put it with grape.
That would be really good, actually. That's a great... Miriam, we need grape keto chow back so I can do that. That's a good idea. Thank you for it. I might even have one left. But strawberry would work.
Strawberry would work. Okay. Strawberry would work great.
But grape is going to be better.
Because peanut butter and strawberry go great together.
So anyway, so melted it. Now, how much? That's going to be what's awesome about keto chow. How much fat do you want? So look at it. I look to add about 400 calories from whatever fat source I am. Now the problem with peanut butter is
higher in carbs.
You're going to have protein and you're also adding carbs, also the oxalates from peanut butter. But even if you use almond butter, you're going to have to look at how much fat do you want because you are going to be adding a substantial amount of protein as well. So what I would be doing is look at it, and so let's say, and again I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but let's say a tablespoon of it has 8 grams of fat in 1 tablespoon. I like to get about 30 grams of fat into my keto chow. So I'm going to use enough to get that and ignore the protein aspect and just go, I'm getting some extra protein because I'm not even going to bother counting that protein. I'm fine getting more protein, but I want to make sure I'm getting enough fat. So it can be done. It's a little bit more work. The other option is to get peanut flour.
Yeah.
Okay, which is actually how they make chocolate peanut butter keto chow. So peanut flour is basically powdered peanuts.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can do it that way. And it's high in fat. Next one is from RW.
Hi, RW.
If the keto lifestyle is easy and satisfying, I feel like this was a troll, but I thought it was a good question.
They've got my initials from before I got married.
Why are there so many refined products aimed specifically at those trying to live a keto lifestyle?
Money.
Why do you keep making recipes that are aimed at those who are searching for normal food? So this is a two-folded question, and again, I believe that this was a troll.
Sure.
But it presents a really good question.
Why are there
so many products?
A product?
Because they want to make money.
Yeah.
So again, when we got started on keto, there was one keto product. It was called
The keto bar.
The Keto Bar. And you ordered it, and it came in a takeout Chinese box.
It was clearly a craft.
And it was clearly made in somebody's kitchen.
Yes.
Right? That was it. Other than that, there was Quest bars, but they weren't keto. Quest bars were around long before keto became popular. Just keto people started using them. But they were made with IMO fiber at the time. But there were no keto products. There were no keto cereals. There was nothing. So what happened? Big Food realized more and more people
this isn't a fad.
Are doing keto, and we can't make money because we don't sell beef.
Right.
We don't sell butter. We sell cereal. What do we need to do?
Make a keto cereal.
Well, they play this silly game called net carbs, so let's capitalize on that. So let's pump a bunch of fiber in it, make some things, throw in sweeteners, say it's 1 net carb even though it's 50 total carbs, and they'll all buy it. That's what net carbs is. So these companies just made products to get you to buy it, and that's why most of the ones in the store are not very good for you. They're not keto friendly. Like all the keto wraps and stuff like that, they're really not very good for you.
They're going to stall your progress.
But it's all about making money because they can't make money off of you just eating whole foods.
And they know that we are going to want to blend in as much as possible for ourselves and for others. So if I bring a sandwich to work and it's made out of keto bread, then I feel like I'm just kind of sneaking this into the workspace, and nobody may even ask you about your lunch, but sometimes we get afraid of lunch. And so, when we're out in public, like, oh, I don't want to have to explain myself. I don't want to do that. So let's just make it look like everybody else's lunch. So let's use a wrap. Let's use, bread so that it just looks the same. Let's have a candy of some sort that's in a little baggie so that my lunch just looks like everybody else's lunch.
And the other thing that these companies have done is, in addition to creating their own products, they've gone around and they've bought up companies that had good keto products,
and now they own it.
And then they own it, and in doing so, many times they've messed with the ingredients that made it a good keto product.
Not always.
Not always, but many of them. The bigged example is Lily's. So when Lily's first came to market, very, very hard to find. They really only had we had to go to Whole Foods for a long time. Chocolate chips, if I remember right. They didn't even have bars yet. But it was chocolate and stevia.
And that was it.
That was it. Then they got bought out. And now go look at the ingredients. Right? So, and that's what happens. The one exception is when Kraft bought Primal Kitchen.
Yeah,
they have maintained the ingredients and a good quality product. But for the most part, that's what they'll do is they're like, oh, we'll buy up other companies, and then they start changing products. They start changing the ingredients. But it's all about money. Now, so why do we make recipes?
Why do you keep making recipes,
Because
Joe?
For us, it's all about sustainability for people. And I will tell you, if you would have come to me 8 years ago and said you could never have a piece of chocolate, you could never have a piece of cake, I would have said, peace out.
We would not have been able to stick to it. So that's not for everybody.
Some people are completely fine to be carnivore.
But everybody doesn't need to eat a mug cake. Everybody doesn't need to have a fat bomb. Everybody doesn't need to use Keto Chow if they don't want to. There's nothing that is required. And just because we're making a video about a recipe doesn't mean you have to do the recipe.
Yeah. So we make it because we utilize
There's somebody out there that's like us.
And because there are some people that are like, you know what? I really want to do this, but I would like to have a piece of dessert with my family. I would like to give my granddaughter a healthy thing that isn't loaded with sugar, but make her feel like, hey, it's okay, so she can fit in with her friends and not feel like a freak. So why not make alternatives that are healthier for you? If there is a way to make flan that doesn't have all of the sugar and caramel in it, why not make it that way, especially when it tastes just as good as the sugared crap?
We would like to make an easy on-ramp for people to go keto. And I think that sometimes that requires recipes. most people like some version of macaroni and cheese, for instance, at like a family dinner. So how can you like help to change your family dinner? We have a carnivore mac and cheese recipe that I absolutely love. Like the cheese sauce alone, I could just like eat as a separate food group unto itself. So, but that makes it easy for people to kind of on ramp to keto.
Yeah, it's all about sustainability. Some people don't want to just eat a steak every day. They want to eat, ground beef mixed with a bunch of stuff. Next one's from Cheryl. We are so far behind. In 2021, I did low carb dieting, eating plan, 50 carbs or less. I was for 21 days each. The carbs were less, and I felt like I had the flu. After about 3 days, I went to Walmart to do a grocery haul for my mother-in-law. I couldn't get out of the car, so I thought I need carbs. I ate a peppermint from Sonic, and I could do the shopping. After the 21 days, I decided I needed carbs. I wish I would have known about electrolytes, but I know now, and I've been low carb for 20 or less a while, and I feel more normal these days.
I'm so glad you discovered that.
So if you are new to keto, yes, the first 3 days to a week, you are going to feel like crap. Unless you do electrolytes.
Right.
So, and even with electrolytes it depends on where your eating lifestyle was before. If you were a 2 pot of coffee a day drinker.
Imagine just going
and then
cold
you
turkey.
go to 1 cup, you're going to feel like
Headaches,
crap.
Stomach aches,
you're going through withdrawal.
nausea.
If you were eating a lot of sugar and carbohydrates, 400, 500 grams of carbohydrates a day, and then you go to eating 20, you're going to go through carb withdrawal. That in itself should tell people that sugar
wrong.
is addictive.
Seriously.
Okay, because you don't go through protein withdrawal.
No.
Okay, your body, I mean, you may lose muscle, but if you stop eating protein, your body doesn't start going, oh my gosh, I've got a headache.
You don't feel like you're going to die.
You're not going through this withdrawal. You go through sugar withdrawals. And so those first few days, you have a combination of you're going through the withdrawal from the carbohydrates, and also your glycogen stores are going down. You don't have the electrolytes. Your body's not quite sure what to use. So the best thing to do is to use something like salty, because that will, the electrolytes they're like electricity, and they can spark you, and they can keep you going, and they can get you over and past those muscle cramps and everything else. Next one is from Julie.
Hi, Julie.
I'm just blown away with the outpouring of sugar diet craziness. No one talks about oral, teeth, and gum health. Sugar promotes bacteria and acid from sugar within 20 seconds of eating, causing decay. So those slowly sipping on sugar juice, smoothie, or sugar soft drinks, I worry about the effects it'll have on their oral hygiene. Love that you and Joe are staying true to a healthy lifestyle.
Thanks, Julie. Yeah, I wonder, something I was very susceptible to pre-keto was also like all kinds of sores in my mouth.
Yep.
Like I got a lot of like those canker sores, and that's terrible. And I do worry about the acidity. I remember when we were at Ketopalooza and we had a keto dentist come, and she shared about like what goes on with your teeth with sugar. It's particularly like going to bed and what's going on. Like when we're thinking about we're going on when we go to sleep, we think about like fasting. We think about fat fasting, right? Like while you're sleeping, like there's so much awesome things, restorativeness going on in your sleep. And she was talking about what is going on in your mouth when you are following a high sugar protocol. And it was just, it was scary.
Next one's Demarius.
Hey, Damaris.
I think anything that is short-term places you in a position of finding an eating lifestyle eventually. It will be a struggle to find a way of eating that won't put the weight back on. It then puts you in a perpetual cycle of dieting. I'm trying to stay off of the dieting bandwagon and eat for health and nutrition. Good choice. It doesn't make sense when you can't sustain the diet indefinitely.
Yeah, I do think about when people are like, the sustainability. A lot of times we get that accusation of like, I can't go and be keto on a cruise because like, how am I going to find something to eat? I can't go to a wedding. I can't go to like a family, get together. Like, what am I going to eat? What am I going to find that's there? Like, I feel like some of the things that are very fringe that's not going to make it easier. Like, we follow a whole food protocol. So if there's meat or there's some cruciferous vegetables, like, I can make a salad out of something. I can, just eat breakfast food. But like, how sustainable is it going to be as far as like your everyday life and getting access to what you need if it's super fringe?
Next one's from Matt.
I'm a little late on this video. I've avoided searching my otherwise inspiring videos because of this. I eat like you and don't bother watching these diets about sugar since I've been overexposed with videos about the sugar fasting and diet. Not that it tempts me, but it's a big irritation. Good thing you made this video and hope it gets out to all those who need to hear your opinion. You feel there is a much more suspicious reason behind this push. I don't experience it as organic the way this platform pushes this way of eating. I'm also a little careful with my words here. I live in Scandinavia, and 5 months ago we got a new big tax on beef in particular, and at the same time they lowered an otherwise effective sugar tax that has really caused sugar consumption to drop. It's things like this that make me suspicious. The world has become small because of the internet. It makes these things visible if you want to see it. Thanks for your videos. I hope people who have regained their health think carefully. That's all we care about too. Is that you just think.
Just think for yourself. And again, I'm not going to go so far to say this is being pushed by the sugar industry. It wouldn't surprise me, but I think it's more of
doesn't hurt them.
These are some things that a couple of bodybuilder type people have done to cut weight. It's not like a lot of people will say it's based on old vegan stuff. Well, they're not super healthy either. Or fruitarians, again, not super healthy because they're missing a bunch of nutrition and nutrients and stuff that you cannot get without eating meat. And so they started talking about it, which, if you want to be honest, would help promote their channel.
Sure.
And then it caught on, and I think you're seeing the introduction into the keto thing and people doing on keto is two things. I think desperate and also clicks and likes. So if you look at all the channels that are doing it, you will see they're losing subscribers who have followed them for a long time, but they're gaining a lot.
A lot of interest.
They're getting a lot more views.
Sure.
Because either A, people are watching it going, you're an idiot, or people are going, oh, they're going to tell me that it's okay for me to do this. And so, yeah. Last one. Okay. I had to put this in here just because this is the weirdest comment we have ever seen.
Ugh.
Why does it seem like this weird couple is going to randomly break out and talk about tantric sex?
We won't. We will
I
not
can feel
be
a
doing
demonstration coming.
Oh my gosh, shudder. Okay. Nobody would shudder more than us.
This obviously is a troll, but it came off of the sugar diet video.
This is what happens when you talk about something that people don't want you to talk about.
We brought out a lot of trolls.
We have brought out, we literally moved the rock and a lot of roaches.
We were talking about this, and Rachel's like, but the comment doesn't make sense.
Why would that? It's just like, I just want to,
It's not even like we were doing a little joke, like, after this, we're going to go in bed. It's like we were talking about the sugar diet.
I want to, publicly state that you will never have to worry about anything like that ever. So if that is something that you are shuddering about, rest assured you are safe. You are safe in place.
Let's jump into the chat for a little while.
What are you guys up to?
Joanna said, I found in the beginning my thought process was stuck on convenience. I got lazy in meal prep. Now it's effortless when I don't get hangry. Sunday is meal prep day. Done and done. No issue now.
It does help. And again, if it's been a while and you remember, hey, when I got started, I was felt like I was more in control and making better decisions. Take a look. What changed? What were you doing? And for a lot of people, I think that meal prep was a part of it, because when you're getting started with something, even if it's getting started with going to the gym, what do you do differently than when you get used to this behavior? You set your clothes out the night before, right? You set your sneakers out where you can see them. You are planning for something and prepping in some way, because this is new to you. Yeah. This is foreign. And so you need to collect all the things that you need to be successful, because it is not a muscle memory thing. And so when you started keto, chances are you prepped for this, like you prepared for it, and chances are you just were like, hey, I'm just gonna go into cruise control because I think I know enough about what I need. Well, if things are slipping, put your hands back on the wheel, more control, turn that cruise control off, and like go back to what started you.
Joanna said, I think trolls look for reactions, good or bad. Oh, they do. And that's why I answer them back, and then they'll answer me back. Eventually, they'll just stop answering me because they know I'm not. But my answer is always like, thanks for the nasty comment. It helps build our channel.
Well, this one was very odd.
No.
Like, I expect, like, you're ugly comment, you're stupid, like, you're losers. Who would listen to these fatties? Like, it's awful. But that one was weird.
My terrific life.
Hey.
You just have to be creative with this way of eating. I think I can make a whole traditional meal like no one would realize it was keto, but would enjoy. Folks like Joe and Chris Cooking Nashville have paved the way.
Thank you.
Tanya said, really glad I caught the live today. Solid, helpful discussion.
Thanks, Tanya.
Carolyn said, I had a lovely Caesar salad while eating out recently and had anchovies.
Yes.
I like them. I also had Kalamata olives and I like them. Never would have tried before keto.
I freaking love the variety. I am very much looking forward to the low carb cruise because there's often food like that, things like a Caesar salad, and made traditionally, at like the different restaurants and stuff. There's the fancy olives, there's artichoke hearts, things that I don't necessarily buy because they're expensive and I just want a little taste of them. It's not like I'm just gonna sit down with a big thing of olives, but I don't want to remember to buy all the things. So that's why going out and having a treat like a vacation like this is just so nice.
Lady Fritzer, I pretty much stick with Keto Chow creamies and keto bricks for treats and not nearly every day.
Yeah.
That's great.
And prepare for yourself to like ebb and flow. That there's going to be times where you may just, right now we are living in a pretty straightforward like carnivore protocol, to be honest, because it is hot outside. We don't want to fix a bunch of stuff. We don't want to clean up after a bunch of stuff. So like we keep it as easy as possible right now.
Joanna said mug cakes saved me in the beginning. I ate one a day and I kept it away from the intimate. It kept me away from
because you're thinking to yourself, like, one of the biggest things that can derail you is that FOMO, is thinking like everybody else is getting something and I don't get something. So if you can establish what can be a safe treat that you can trust yourself with, and that changes, a treat at one point for me was nuts, and I found that I can't be trusted with a container of nuts. So I had to shift what was a treat to me to something that like I can eat and then, okay, I'm satisfied. Donna Joe.
John said, but we can have chocolate and cakes if we're creative. Yeah,
sure.
That's our whole point. Donna Joe said, I started out with Atkins treats. I can't even imagine eating one now.
Your taste changed too. Your taste absolutely changed.
DePuma said, I didn't know the Primal Kitchen sold out the craft. Yeah, they sold that years ago. But part of the deal is they had to keep it the way it is. And it would make sense. Kraft has so many products with horrible seed oils. There would be no reason for them to change the Primal Kitchen brand to also have seed oil.
They need something
because
to play to.
At that point, like it would just cost them more money to run another factory. So they can continue to make it a healthier alternative and charge a lot more money for it. I'm willing to pay for it because there's very few dressings and things out there without seed oils. So, it's smart for them to keep that as a separate division. If they were to just start making it like everything else, honestly, what they would do is like what so many other companies do is just say like, okay, we're just going to combine brands and dump Primal Kitchen.
Right. Just get like a flavor instead of, if they have a flavor of something, they would just make it in their same product line.
Carolyn said mug cakes were a lovely transition when I first started keto.
Absolutely.
Aaron said, I'm still wondering how much longer until Campbell's ruins the raw products. So, yeah, I'm curious about that too, but I'm seeing more and more tomato sauces that don't have the sugar. I know that they have a couple in BJ's.
I like the Aldi
whatever the
one
BJ
even.
Brand one is. That one, I forget what it is, but that
the
one.
360.
And no, that's
for Whole Foods.
Whole Foods. And then if you go to Aldi has one that's also got no sugar. It's got about the same amount of carbs as Ralph's, but it's a quarter the price.
But this is a good time to just remember the next time you go grocery shopping, even if you have been purchasing the same product for a while, check the label. Just make sure that they haven't changed their ingredients.
Lady Fritz said I usually melt peanut butter in some water, or butter, or peanut butter, in some water in a microwave until warm it up before mixing with Keto Chow.
That's smart.
Brandon said, Joe, you're so right. I'm type 2 diet, looking to get off of meds soon. I'll tell you, I was intrigued, but at what cost? Thank you for your talking about the sugar diet and taking me off the ledge.
Man, that makes it...
That comment right there
makes it all worth it.
All the hate that we've gotten worth it.
Oh my gosh. Like 2 black eyes for both of us. Like, I'm telling you, like, behind the scenes, like, sometimes you see the negative comments, but you don't see the emails, you don't see the, you know, the one-on-one, the DMs that you get can be very, like, talk about like causing to shudder, but it is worth it. Because if one person is like, you know what, I decided to just stay the course, I watched my mom get off of type 2 diabetes medication, and it was such a celebration. I see the freedom that she enjoys in her life at 75 years old every single day. Like, her life is completely different than it was before keto. And if I would not wish my mother to go back to being sick, I don't wish anybody's mother going back to being sick.
The other big comment, and if you want to type this, here's my answer to you, is you shouldn't talk bad about something unless you're willing to try it, because until you try it, you don't know.
Well, cocaine, I understand, is bad.
And
I'm not
so
trying it.
My answer is, you know, speed will help you lose weight.
It will.
I don't need to try it.
I'm not
to
doing
know that that's not good for me.
Thing.
I know for a fact that crystal meth and heroin and crack are not good for me. I'll lose weight if I consume them, and my teeth. So, hey, if I want to lose weight, I know I can go smoke a bunch of crystal meth, and I'm trying not to, I don't want to offend, like, you know, recovering addicts, but you get where I'm going. I don't need to try those to tell you it's not a good idea to do crystal meth for weight loss. Right? So, I mean, it's, to me, a silly argument. My Terrific Life said, I like when folks say this runs in my family. I kindly say in response, so does the way you eat. Stops them from saying anything else. That is good.
Well, I mean, Dr. Barry has done some really great videos, and like some of his presentations has talked about, like, and it really was a relief to me because, you know, the first thing you fill out when you go to the doctor is like your family history. And, you know, Dr. Barry talking about like your family history is really tied mostly to the lifestyle. Why do you have the same outcome as your family oftentimes? Because you're using the same recipes as grandma and mom made. You're having the same hobbies. If the only, you know, family hobby was like we're fishing in a boat and we're not moving all day long, like that's our fun time, is just sitting in a boat and we're not moving, that sedentary lifestyle can kind of be passed on generationally as well. So why are we having the same outcome? Because we're putting in the same input. Once we changed the way we did things, started eating completely differently than the family history, and started moving completely differently than our family moved, then we experienced a different outcome.
Yep. Last one. From Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Do you use Botox?
No.
Your skin looks great. I'm just wondering any skincare tips.
Thank you.
No, we don't use Botox.
Hydration is important, I think.
So how does our skin look good? We eat meat. I mean, if you want to be honest, we eat meat. We do electrolytes. Rachel has very little skincare. Occasionally she'll use the Redmond clay products.
Sunlight.
And we'll put tallow on us.
We're out
also,
in the sun
by the way,
lot.
I get so much hate when I say this. We do not use or believe in suntan lotion. So if you want something to help protect yourself from the sun,
we made a recipe.
We have a video on how to make your own suntan lotion. But even there, I would use it sparingly. Your body needs the sun. Okay, and I don't know where you are in your faith journey or whatever, but let's think about it this way. Is like, if the number one way to pull out vitamin D in your body is the sun, why would God make the sun poisonous?
Right.
Okay? You know, people talk about the fruit thing, and they're like, well, God made the fruit. You're right, but not the fruit that we're eating today. The fruit that we're eating today isn't even the same that our grandparents ate. It's very, very different. We've manipulated that. We haven't manipulated the sun. But we don't wear suntan lotion. We're in Florida. We're outside many hours a day. We don't wear suntan lotion because if you look at the ingredients on most of the suntan lotions, like 90% of the ingredients in that suntan lotion is actually carcinogenic. I think it's a big ploy because they're like,
burnt, you buy more.
I mean, they're like, hey, you need to wear suntan lotion to avoid skin cancer. So what do? We buy more suntan lotion.
And the SPF is like,
and it
80,
keeps going
90,
higher and higher and higher and higher,
120.
which all the evidence shows that there's nothing, once you get past 30, there's really no difference anyway. But so we don't wear suntan lotion. If we do, we just like beef tallow with some beeswax and a little bit of zinc mixed in. Very, very little stuff. If that's, we're going to be in a place where we worry about burning. But we expose our body to the sun for at least an hour every day in pretty much what you see, Rachel, like bathing suit. As much skin as you can expose as possible.
Yeah.
It's good for your body. And you're going to get vitamin D. It's great for your eyes. And sunglasses, horrible for your eyesight.
And I come from a whole bunch of redheads on both sides. Yeah. So my brother is a redhead.
But that is our skin
had ruddy complexions. Yeah. So I understand that was always something that was like double down on that. Now I do believe in wearing a hat. You know, that can be good because, you know, your face can, I don't want to get, you know, burned. And especially if you are looking over the water, the reflection can kind of burn. And then
shading is one thing.
Yeah, shading is not a bad idea.
But you do want to expose your skin to a half hour to an hour of sunlight a day. Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Not quite sure what's going to happen with the live stream later on this week. We may do it on Wednesday, just because Thursday we will be in Seattle.
We will.
And I haven't looked at the whole schedule. But
I think it's that during that time. It's like 7 to 9.
Except for it will be 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, because the time
it will be 5:30. So we have to see what's going on at 5:30. So we will let you know. So what you need to do is just make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button so that you're notified when we upload a new video. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
See you later. We love you.